Welcome back to the second installment of your introduction to my classrooms, German and French. Last time I spoke to you about the listening part, the listening skills that we're going to practice in the foreign language classroom, and I highlighted the Audiolingua website. We talked about German and French radio stations, the use of digital recorders in the classroom, YouTube videos that you can watch in order to deepen understanding for skills. We talked about the fact that we'll be having conversations in class in the target language, and that I would also be speaking the target language while we are in class. Let's at this point move on to the next aspect of the language learning skills, which would be speaking. When I would like to have you speak, we would have conversations in class with peers and instructor in the foreign language, in either French or German. I also use what's called an Audacity program. You may have heard about it before. Let me show you what that looks like. When we are going to work on Audacity, we would actually go to one of the labs, one of the computer labs in our school, and those would be days that I would introduce and announce ahead of time, so you would have plenty of time to know that indeed we are going to the language lab on or to the computer lab on a particular day. This is the Audacity program, and in order to learn how Audacity works, I will be uploading another video from YouTube for you to understand and to actually watch how Audacity works and how you would learn how to use it in a way that's going to help you with language learning. But that will be another video. I would most likely upload this into our Google Classroom, into our collection of class information. Again, the digital recorders will help us in speaking, as they did in listening in when I spoke about the listening skills. Moving on to culture. Usually culture is the most is the part that students enjoy most learning about when they're starting a foreign language. And the way that I would like for you to learn about the culture, is by actually doing projects. And you would do projects in a collaborative format. You might be using Glockster, and I'll show you what that site looks like. It's an interactive multimedia poster. So instead of getting a piece of paper and getting down on the floor and actually making a poster, you might be making a poster out of multimedia components with this website Glockster. I might also assign a Wordle. You might see that from other classes as well. Instead of having English words there, we would most likely have words in our target language. I might assign a Storybird, which is a story writing program, a story writing website, where you can collaborate to write a story, or where you can just write your own stories. And again, all of that would be happening in the target language. Another site that I use is called Kahoot to help us learn about language. There are plenty of quizzes that are already pre-made by other teachers, and we would just basically play Kahoot. You may see this in other classes as well. You may have seen it in your 8th grade classroom. If you have not, that's okay. We will introduce it to you. Those are for what I would call bring your own device days, and I'll get more into that shortly. Part of culture is also that you would do research online, and I'll show you real quick what that would look like. The way that you would research collaboratively is by, for example, me assigning possibly a castle from France to you, and you would then find your name, you would add the facts that you researched, and we would have a collection of facts and of information and of culture about each of these castles. So you wouldn't have to research each and every one of them. You would be able to collaborate with your classmates and work together and collect a number of information. I'll show you the finished product from last year. Here's one period that completed these castles, and these are the people that would be responsible for each castle, and these are the information that they found. So that would be an example of collaboration in a culture project. My next part I would like to talk about is number 3, what you can expect in this class. Number 1 would be that we would complete in-class activities with materials that I'm handing out to you. I would recommend that you organize yourself with a binder where you are keeping the actual worksheets and handouts and notes in that binder to make sure that you have a collection of items that you can then use to study as we get to semester exams and final exams. They recommend that you bring note paper, that you bring a pen or pencil at all times, and every once in a while we will have bring your own device days. Those I would announce ahead of time, and you would bring a cell phone or a tablet of some sort where you can then complete online activities. Number 2 are technology activities and materials, where primarily you would have a Chromebook from the Chromebook cart, and you would be working with Google applications and online sites, and possibly digital recorders. As I mentioned before, those would also come from me, and you would use those during class. To get more into the organization of the class, especially the online components, I'd like to highlight particularly the Google Classroom. This year I have organized the classes in Google Classrooms. As you can see, if you're a French 2 student, this is your classroom. If you're a German 2 student, this is yours, and German 3-4 is right here. Let's look into the French 2 classroom and take a look at what Google can actually do for us. This is my screen, and these are the things that I will be able to load with information, documents, assignments, and so on. And so this is basically what will be happening. This is the out of class component, and I will be using this very heavily. So let's say, for example, you were absent someday. I would then post with an attachment any worksheets that were handed out during that time. I would post the PowerPoints that I've used during that class, and I would put any kind of homework information on there as well. So sometimes I might use this for discussions, sometimes I might use this for any other information that might be interesting to you. So this would be one component of the online parts of my classroom. We would have documents on there. I would have assignments on here. We might interact. I would put announcements on there. Videos would show up. For example, the video I'm shooting right now is going to go right into our classroom page as one of the links that you can call up and re-watch as you want. Lesson presentations, as I mentioned, they will all be PowerPoints like the one you're seeing right here. I will post that on our pages. I would use Facebook. I think I showed that in the first video. The homework matrix in general at Northview is going to be an important tool for you, especially when you're absent. This is organized by teacher, by department, and by course. Then you have the days where you might be checking on work. And as you can see here, for Tuesday, I've already assigned, you need to read this video and possibly even introduce your parents to this video. So this is the homework matrix. I will keep up with that, and this is something where you can check should you be absent one day. I have various practice sites to solidify skills and vocabulary. So I'm going to go through these fairly quickly because each of these sites I will highlight in more detail as we work through these. So you can see one site here, it's called Languages Online. Then there's education.vic.gov. Then there's YJC. There's the BBC Learning Class. This one happens to be German. Then I have the same thing in French. We have Texas French. We have Duolingo. You can choose German or French. We have Conjuguemos, which helps you conjugate verbs. Alliance Française might be one of the resources for readings or for culture. The same idea is for the Goethe Institute for the German classes. Then there's Quizlet. I've already populated this. This is all from last year. Then there's a vocab learning site. As you can see, you can choose German, French, or Spanish. I mentioned, and I will have several others for you as we go through the year, but please be aware that those are sites that we will use to practice skills and vocabulary. The in-class component will be the same as you might have been used to for previous years. Participate actively, speaking, listening, reading, writing, take notes, and I will give you short lectures with focused practice for various grammar points should they arise. And you will have partner and group work to practice with skills, skits, and presentations. these are some things that I've collected last year from students that have taken my class. This is what you need to do to be successful in the class. And last but not least, I would love for you to complete my exit ticket at kahoot.it. Thank you so much. Successful year. Goodbye.